Well, good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, and that means it's time now for your Berkshire Hathaway bi-weekly podcast. Standing by in the studio, we'll talk with him in just a minute, your realty expert, John Brodeen, and he's coming up right after this.
Look, if home feels too big, let's get you a smaller one. And it's okay if the process seems daunting or you're having a hard time letting go. Because our network agents have the expertise to help you downsize and get you to just the right size. Now, let's go get you home.
All right, and we are back on your Berkshire Hathaway bi-weekly podcast. John Brodeen, realty expert in the house. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm good.
Good. You look tanned.
Yeah.
You just came back from a little vacation, and I'm guessing it wasn't in Canada or Iceland.
It was not in either of those places. Yeah, my wife and I, we were down in Tulum, Mexico, from the 8th through the 14th.
Oh man,
So, yeah.
How nice was that?
Oh, it was amazing. I kind of have a hard time sitting still for a long time, so that took a little getting used to. Carolyn would vouch for that. But
That's what vacations are for, John.
I know.
Now,
It was
there's
so nice.
kind of a story behind this place in Mexico.
Yeah. So it's not exactly the reason we keep going back. We just love it there. But we got engaged there originally, so we've been back like 3 times, or we've been there 3 times. Yeah, and we love it down there. The architecture is so cool. Like the decor of all these places is so cool. The dining, restaurants, bars, everything there is like just amazing.
So can you picture the Brodeens wintering down there?
It wouldn't be a
In
place
a
where
few
you
years?
winter. No.
Okay.
No, it's a vacation place, but I don't think it's a place where people like own second homes
Sure.
much. Yeah.
Kind of tourism. Tourist.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. I'd say Americans make up maybe like a third of the tourists there. Like
Okay.
a lot of the tourists are from, Europe or all over the world. Like you hear people, you hear all sorts of different accents. You hear, so it's an international crowd there for sure.
Kind of like going to Disney World or Disneyland. You
Yeah,
hear every
that's-
language on the planet.
Yeah, I don't think Disneyland or Disney World would be my cup of tea.
No,
but
no. It is fun.
Yeah.
You'll get to go there.
Never
one
been
year.
there. Yeah, I'm sure I
Okay.
will.
You think we should talk about realty stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Interest rates now, they were at historic lows. I'm sure they're starting to climb up, but you're the expert here. Now, how does that combine with your buying power with the interest rates?
Yeah, so like a 1% increase in interest rates will decrease a buyer's buying power by about 11%.
Wow.
So that's a lot.
Yeah.
So a lot of, this is something right now, the demand is so high and the supply is so low. Even for this time of year, supply is extremely low. I think there's only 120 some listings on the market.
Wow.
And a lot of people are wondering what's going to happen in the next year. There's talk of interest rates, rising over the year. I mean, it seems almost inevitable.
Everything else is going up.
Yes, yeah. And interest rates right now are still super low. They're at like 2.99. They actually dropped a little bit this week. I think last week they were at 3.125.
Oh, okay.
So they're still very, very good. What does this mean for home buyers? It means they should probably look at buying sooner rather than later. The way that this works with interest rates is, like, for example, if they're looking at a $1,500 principal and interest payment, putting 20% down, at a 3% interest rate, they can buy a $445,000 house. At a 3.5% interest rate, they can buy a $417,500 house. And at a 4% interest rate, they can buy a $392,700 house. The chances of prices adjusting by that much, so there's if you're a buyer, you might be thinking, well, if I just wait to buy and interest rates go up dramatically, prices should go down equally, right? And so they might be on the fence and they're trying to justify reasons to wait. Chances of prices dropping that dramatically are very, very slim. The reason for that I'm seeing is the inventory being so low. There would have to be such a gigantic swing between supply and demand for prices to drop that substantially, where it's really unlikely. You could see the the rise in prices slow down, where prices maybe level off a little bit and stop rising so fast. But you'd need demand to be cut dramatically, and there is a shortage of houses for the number of people who are looking to buy houses. So that's unlikely. The people who are looking to buy houses still need to buy houses. If you see it impact prices, it's probably going to impact prices in the luxury price range a little bit more than it's going to impact prices in the median price range. But chances are that person who's looking to buy a home is the prices aren't going to drop enough for them, so they're not going to be able to they're either not going to be able to buy the same type of home with the same payment, or they're going to have to buy the same type of home. Maybe even if it's dropped a little bit, they're going to have a higher payment on that type of home.
Okay, so now you'd say inventory is low, 120 some listings.
Yep.
The possibility of the interest rates going up, now is the time. If you're thinking, you know what, well, maybe we should buy a house here in the next year or so, you should probably jump on that sooner than later, because with the low inventory, again, interest rates possibly going up, that could put some people in a pinch when it comes to looking for the kind of home that they've dreamed of.
Yep. Like I said, for somebody to be able to justify waiting to buy a home, they would need to hope that prices would drop equally along with interest rates. So if interest rates a year from now are 1% higher, they're expecting prices to be 11% lower, which is super unlikely.
Right.
So that's why they should try to get in now to take advantage of the low interest rates and get the payment that they want and get the chance to lock that in over a 30-year term.
Okay.
Now is the time to take action for those people.
Okay. So when inventory starts to get low, what does realty expert John Brodeen do then?
So the nice thing, inventory is very, very low. Lowest it's been all year. I think lowest it's been since like 2015.
Oh, wow.
But the nice thing is during January, December and January, fewer homes are going pending. So it's still very competitive. But in the spring months is when you're more likely to see a crazy seller's market where there's so much demand and less supply in relation to the demand. Right now, it's still a seller's market, but it'll probably be more of a seller's market as more buyers enter the market in the upcoming months, especially usually like April and May are the months where the most buyers are in the market, and there's more of a imbalance between supply and demand favoring the sellers.
Now, you say spring, things tend to pick up. That's usually the trend. Right now, I mean, it's not even Christmas yet, but the days are already getting longer.
Yeah.
So that means we have made that turn. And before you know it, winter seems to drag on forever around here, but before you know it, it's going to be springtime.
Yep. And, you notice after the holidays, more buyers enter the market. After the Super Bowl in February, more buyers enter the market. And then, the maximum number of buyers are in the market between, they're beginning to look middle to late March, and they're buying stuff in April and in May.
Wow, you mentioned the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Has something to do with the housing market. Do you think that's the fact that people are losing big bets and winning big bets, so they either have to sell their house or buy one?
I think it might be a coincidence, but I like that idea.
Everybody takes the following day off, that Monday off of work, and they said, let's look for a house.
National call-in sick day. Go on Zillow all day. Yeah.
What else you want to talk about?
I didn't bring much else. The main thing, I just wanted to talk about those interest rates. They're still very, very good. There's an opportunity there for buyers. If you're willing to move during the winter, there's an opportunity to be found right now. We saw the original list to sale price ratio as low as it's been in like the past year. In about the past year. It dropped. It was at like 99 point something. Last month, it dropped to 97 point something. I didn't bring the numbers with me, but I remember it. And then in the month of November, I think it was 98 point something. So that means it just shows the buyers are getting a little bit, they're still not at an advantage, but they're at a little bit more of an advantage than they were during those summer months. Because during the summer months, there were plenty of homes selling over asking price, a lot of homes selling very near the asking price, homes rarely needing to price reduce. In these in October and November, you saw sellers on average price reducing and negotiating down 3%, then for November, like around 2%.
And nobody likes moving in the winter.
No.
I would imagine one good thing about moving in the winter, I would think moving companies aren't quite as busy.
Yeah.
So maybe it's got a plus side to it too.
Yeah, just hire it out.
That's what I'm going to do next time.
And the buyers that are out there in the winter, they're serious. You know,
Sure.
They're not messing around. They're not looking at homes in the winter just for the fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're serious buyers, and it's a savvy buyer who's doing that, especially if it's intentional. I made a video on this not too long ago, but we talk a lot about this just because it's interesting to talk about it. People care about it, about kind of the optimal season of the year to buy, the optimal season of the year to sell. It's less about timing the market, and it's more about time in the market.
Oh, sure.
What I'm saying is, if you're trying to find the perfect time to buy, the prices are always too high. I'm going to wait until they crash, or you're going to wait for the perfect storm to happen so you can buy at a low price. Those people still haven't bought 5 years later, and prices are 10% higher.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you need to get in the market and stay in the market for the long term. That's how people build a lot of equity and a lot of wealth through buying a home. It's not buying at the perfect time of year and then selling at the perfect time of year next year. That's not the move with real estate. It's expensive to sell real estate. It's not easy to sell it. Even when the market's super hot, it's maybe easy to sell it, but there's a lot of work that goes into selling it for top dollar.
Sure.
You know, it takes a lot of work from you. It takes a lot of work from your agent. You guys need to be working together, and it's not an easy thing to accomplish. So buying and selling a house every year, unless you're a home flipper or something and you're a professional and you know exactly what you're doing, for the average homeowner that's going to occupy the home, you need to get in the market and stay in the market.
That's why they call him a realty expert, John Brodeen. John, how do we get a hold of you?
701-213-5428. Find me on Instagram and follow my page. I post a lot of content on there. YouTube, Facebook, everywhere you'll be able to find me.
You're going to be back on Friday?
Yes, I'll be back on Friday.
All right. You get to come in right before Santa Claus.
Perfect. Oh, that's
There you go.
Tough act to follow for him.
For him. There you go. Your Berkshire Hathaway bi-weekly podcast on a Wednesday with realty expert John Brodeen. John will be back on Friday morning about 10 o'clock. So we'll see you then. Until then, have yourself a great week.